All right. Looks like we are live. Think we are. Looks like we are. Yep. All right. It's a little early, but that's all right. Okay, guys. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I don't know what that shade is. We build it as we go, though. Like I said, guys. Um, I want to welcome you guys to the last 2025 live stream. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Even on my other videos, I really appreciate you guys throughout the year. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be talking about a lot of celebrity couples in the next couple of weeks. They all lined up, guys. So, and we're going to look at all the charts from an astrological perspective. But tonight, what I want to do, I want to talk about 2026, guys. And this is probably the most important video I'll probably ever make because it's going to be such a paradigm shift this year. Well, next year, it's going to be such a paradigm shift and things are going to accelerate so fast. So I just want you guys to be prepared. And when things happen, knowing that it's going to happen, it helps you to absorb the blow or it helps you to absorb what's going on at the time that it's happening. All right. And guys, I told you I had to take some months off. And the reason I had to take some months off was because just trying to absorb what's coming our way is just it's kind of hard to absorb. I put it to you like that. It's hard to believe. It's hard to get a grasp around it, to get you wrap your head around everything that's coming. When you know something's coming, it's kind of like knowing it's a hole in the road, and you know it's there, and you want to walk past it, you want to walk around it, but you know a hole is there, and you got a choice to either walk into it or walk around it. So that's how predictions are. I do a lot of predictive analysis, guys. I do it in my practice all the time. So, but just personally knowing what's about to happen is sometimes it can be jarring. Okay, so um, it's not all doom and gloom, but things are going to be occurring in such a way that the shift is going to be sometimes unbearable to you. Okay, so but it's some good things that's going to be going on in 2026 as well. So it's not all doom and gloom, guys. So, but I had to, just take some time off just to absorb everything that's about to shift because it's not going to be the norm that we're gonna normally have. So, uh, but let's just get started with the obvious, guys. One way I do a lot of my predictions is through solar eclipse. So a lot of solar eclipses they tell what's going to happen, and it always occurred a year or a year and a half or two. It's almost like COVID. When I knew COVID was about to happen, I mean, nobody believed when I said, "Hey, it's going to be a lot of people dying in 2020," and I see this is going to be a big virus and all that. A lot of people they just took it lightly. So I don't want anybody to take this video lightly. I want you to absorb all the information, and I want you guys to prepare yourself um, for what's about to occur because you know once you know what's about to occur, you're better prepared, and you'll be a lot more relaxed, and you'll be a lot better coping with what's going on in your life. So September 21st, 2025, we had a solar eclipse occur at 29 degrees of Virgo, guys. All right. So if you can see this eclipse right here, And as you guys know, if you're new to the channel, I talk about, it's different types of eclipses. Of course, we got the North Node eclipse, and then we got the South Node eclipse. And as you guys know, I talked about this. The North Node eclipses are mostly good, but the South Node eclipses, you see the South Node right here? That's how you know it's the eclipse is right by the sun and the moon. Okay, so it's easy to spot, 17 degrees away. Most of the time, the nodes are 17 degrees away from the sun and the moon. That's how you know it's an eclipse. Okay, so FYI. The one that happened September 21st is a South Node eclipse, guys. So when you're dealing with a South Node eclipse, of course, mostly nothing good comes out of a South Node eclipse. And the reason is because the bottom just drops out, guys. So with that said, first thing you want to look at is the degree that the eclipse is in. Okay. So we're looking at 29 degrees of Virgo. That's what the eclipse is in. The solar eclipse is in. Well, was in, because it just passed. So if you're new to the channel, if you don't know about critical degrees, let me just go through the critical degrees. Okay. So critical degrees are degrees of the zodiac that are very, I would say, unstable. Okay. And they're very fragile, very fragile. And when you're dealing with something fragile, it can easily break. It's unstable, it's at an imbalance. Okay. So critical degrees are 0 degrees and 29 degrees. And these are degrees that should be avoided at all costs. If you're trying to plan something, if you're getting ready to do something, you want to avoid those type of degrees. If you got a planet in a degree, it doesn't matter what sign is in, especially if it's retrograde. You want to make sure you avoid that particular degree. 0 degrees, 0 degree, and 29 degrees. Okay. An angle or planet in either of those degrees, it's always operating at a disadvantage. 0 is operating at a disadvantage because it's 0. It's 0, you don't have anything, you don't know anything, right? So it's premature. At 29 is late. So as you guys know, it's 30 degrees in the sign, right? So when something's at 29 degrees, it's at the end of that degree. So it's later on, it's late. So anything that's going to be occurring pertaining to that particular sign is going to be late. So just keep that in mind, guys. And basically what this solar eclipse entails is that, and it's already happening, right? Because what do we know about Virgo? What do we know about Virgo? Virgo is about what? Work and service, right? We all know it's all about perfection as well, but it's all about work and service. And what do we have in there right now? We got a lot of layoffs going on. Okay. So work and service is coming to an end. Because why? Because we got Virgo at a 29 degrees, at a critical degree, at the ending of a degree. So we know work and service is coming to an end. So shout out to David Shapiro. He talks about post-labor economics. So we're going to be living in a post-labor society, guys. So this is going to be the end of work and service. It's going to be the end of that. Why? Well, we're going to get to that later on when we get to, AI and robotics and all that stuff, because that's coming down the road, guys. But to have this eclipse occur like this, when I saw it coming up this year, I was like, oh my God. I said, damn. So I said, so this is how it's going to be ushered in. And, it always just happening so fast, guys. So, and I have to absorb the blow to it because I know what's about to happen. So we got work and service coming to an end, though. Okay. So we're going to see a lot of layoffs, because work and service is coming to an end. Remember, 29 degrees is the end of a sign, guys. Okay, that's the end of something. So it's in Virgo. That's work and service. So that's the end of work and service, guys, as we know it. So just keep that in mind about this eclipse, and it's going to be occurring when an eclipse lasts for how long, guys? Like I told you, a year and a year and a half. So that's how long we got before we go into post-labor economics. Post-labor, basically, a post-labor world. And yes, it's hard to believe, but when it starts occurring, you guys will know what's going on, and you guys will remember this eclipse and how you need to get through it. Okay, and everybody's going to be okay is as long as you keep a stable mind and make sure that you have money saved up and you're going into another career, um, or another area of life that you love, because that's what it's going to be about. And once we start going through this post-labor paradigm shift, you're going to hear a lot about, the digital, everything being digitized. And we're going to get to that once we get to AI. But um, just so you guys know, the reason everybody's going to be okay is because we're going to have the income coming in, okay, from the government. And you guys know what that is, right? That's UBI, universal basic income and universal basic services, guys. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's where we're going. That's where we're going, guys. So this solar eclipse right here it precedes that. Okay. So just to let you guys know. So, and after all this, I mean, if you look, we got Mars at a critical degree too. It's at 29 degrees of Libra. Now, guys, as you guys know, now we already know about Mars in Libra, right? We know Mars is in his detriment in Libra. So just looking at that, we know that relationships are gonna be what, guys? They're gonna be at an imbalance. Okay. It's gonna be, it's detrimental. Marriages, they're going to be looked at totally differently. Uh, just like in the last prediction I made, marriage will be looked down upon. It will not be a flex to be married anymore, unfortunately. So if you're with someone, make sure you stay with them, um, because people are going to be going through a lot. They are. They're going to be going through a lot. So just keep that in mind. That's at a critical degree as well in this eclipse. So that's why this eclipse is so important right here. So let's see. Oh, God. I tell you, service coming to an end. We got Venus. There we go. We got Venus in Virgo, guys. Here we go with that. So we got Venus in Virgo as well. So with Venus in Virgo, guys, again, this goes back to relationships, right? We all know Venus is in its fall in Virgo. So we're going to, through all of this, it's going to be so hard to find a mate. And again, this just kind of reflects that Mars in Libra. Okay? So it's all debilitated. I mean, look at that. We got Venus and Mars debilitated in a way. Okay? On top of that, guys, to boot, look at Juno right here doing this solar eclipse. It's a 27 degrees of Scorpio, right? And then we got the vertex right here at 27 degrees of Leo. That's the absolute square, guys. That's absolute. So what does that mean, right? What does that mean? That means that there's no loyalty in marriage, in relationships. You see that? You see how it keeps like reflecting. You see how the relationship aspect of this eclipse, it keeps repeating itself, right? Over and over again. We got Mars debilitated in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. It's in Mars is in his detriment. So we know that relationships are going to be unstable in 2026. We also know, look at Venus right here in Virgo right here. All right. So it's in its fall in Virgo. So we know it's going to be hard to find the perfect mate. Okay. So we know it's going to be hard to date. And to boot, if you are in a relationship, look at this, guys. So we got people not being loyal in the marriage. We're going to see a lot of that in celebrity relationships because as you guys know, people got married at the wrong time. All right. So we got that going on, guys. So yeah, it also, just so you guys know, when you're looking at Mars in Libra like this, as you guys know, Mars rules what? Violence. So, and when you got Libra, it's going from one extreme to the other. Okay. So, in essence, we got extreme violence that's going to be going on in 2026. Why? Because Mars is in its detriment in Libra. So, it's going to be extreme violence from one extreme to the other, guys. So, you got to prepare yourself for that, especially. And I'm going to be giving dates, guys. So write this down. You can write this stuff down. And then when the dates come and you like, damn, okay, this did happen. And let me just say this. It may not be in your town, in your city, but it's going to be somewhere in the United States. Okay. It's going to be somewhere around the world where this violence may happen as well. So just keep that in mind. When I make predictions, guys, hey, I've gotten them wrong sometimes. My teacher, look, guys, my teacher, she makes predictions as well. Okay, she's been practicing for almost what, 40, 50 years as an astrologer, and she's gotten some predictions wrong. So I mean, we do get it wrong sometimes. So if you got an astrologer out there and say, well, I'll never get it wrong, yeah, they lying. They lying, guys. All right. They've gotten a lot of predictions wrong. I mean, this is how you predict. You have to practice prediction. When you're an astrologer, you're trying to deal with this craft and you're trying to learn this craft, or you want to learn this craft, or if you have learned this craft and you're to a point where you can predict, listen, when you start predicting, you will be wrong sometimes because there are different techniques to predicting. And if you don't use a technique properly, yes, you're going to get the prediction wrong. So that's just the way it is. I mean, my teacher predicted that, oh my God, and it was a presidential election too. And I was like, okay, you sure about that? But look, this is the thing. When you're predicting, you can't get emotionally involved in the prediction. You really have to separate yourself from the subject matter. So if you get keyed in or emotionally attached to the subject matter, you're gonna predict it wrong. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm not connected to this. That's why I had to take some time off to, absorb this, because you can get connected to what's about to happen, and then you can't see the forest from the trees. So if you guys are going into predicting techniques, just keep in mind, don't get attached to the subject matter you're trying to predict about, because you can cloud your mind. You can have clouded judgment about what's about to happen. So you have to separate yourself and deal with the craft alone. Okay. So when I'm making these predictions, I'm channeling my energy here, and I'm looking at everything, because you have to take everything into account here. And sign and the planets, how it's the critical degrees, what they mean. You have to take all that into account, guys. So what I mean about that extreme violence, and we have been getting a lot of violence, even on the last eclipse I predicted about. Yes, we had a lot of violence going on that year. We really did. And you can go through my videos and watch that eclipse video. But this right here, the 2026 is going to be something else, because the Earth is spinning a little quicker, guys. And you can look this up. The Earth is spinning faster now. So that means that a lot of what you're going to experience, a lot of events are going to occur quickly, rather quickly. And all of this is going to occur rather quickly. All these things I'm talking about and we talk about tonight is going to be occurring quickly. So just like January 18th and 19th. Now, on these particular dates, which, guess what, guys, are holidays, unfortunately. On these two particular dates, Yes, we will have some violence on that day. Why? Why you guys asking, right? Okay. The reason is because the sun, the transiting sun, as you guys know, the sun transits around the zodiac. Okay. So on the 18th and 19th, it's going to be squaring this Mars placement right here at 29 degrees of Libra. So that means the sun, it should be, let's see, if it goes around, yes, it's going to be at 29, 28 degrees of Capricorn. All right. By the time it gets around, it should be, if I'm not mistaken. But I know it's squaring. So yeah, that's right. So it's gonna be squaring this Mars eclipse placement here. And to boot on top of that, guys, the transiting Sun and Mars will be conjunct on those two particular days. So you know it's a double whammy. So you know something's about to occur. You know some type of action or violent energy is going to occur that day because number one, you got the conjunction with the Sun and Mars. That in itself is somehow a violent combination. Okay, you're going to have some type of energy exchange, whether it's violence or whether it's an argument, in some way, fashion, or form going on, but that energy is there. And as you guys know, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it's gonna be in a powerful state at that moment. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Mars will be exalted on that day. So the energy is going to be so strong with that conjunction with the sun. So those two particular days, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Okay. Now, I had to have my notes, guys, because I don't want to miss anything about 2026. February 14th, guys. I want you guys to take a look at this day as well. Okay. That's why I say all this stuff is occurring rather quickly, isn't it? As you guys can see, it's one thing after another. Boom, boom, boom. This is February 14th right here. What's occurring on February 14th? Well, I'll tell you what. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, guys. But what's going on in the planetary alignments is the beginning of something that's going to create that paradigm shift. That's Saturn and Neptune. Okay, guys. So Saturn goes into Aries on this day. Also on this day, Neptune goes into Aries. Now, what the hell does that mean? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what it means. All right. First of all, let's start with Neptune, guys. Let's just start with Neptune. What does Neptune mean? All right. Now, a lot of people don't have a definition for it. I do. I'll tell you what Neptune is. Neptune represents the collective dream, the ideals and wishes of the collective unconsciousness. It represents the truth, okay? It represents that the truth, that reality is an illusion. And it's the creative, okay? So that's the definition I personally have for Neptune. That reality is an illusion. And guys, of course, reality will be an illusion in 2026. We got AI, guys. You're not gonna. There's gonna be a thin line between the real and the fake. You're not gonna be able to tell the real from the fake. I'm telling you, that's how Neptune is. It's very nebulous. You won't be able to tell the forest from the trees. That's how advanced AI is going to become. You're not going to be you're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's not. So we're going into an era where Neptune is going in Aries. Now, when we talk about Neptune in Aries, what does that entail? The reason I'm dealing with Neptune first, because Neptune in Aries is going to have such an impact in 2026. It's going to be astounding. So, and we're all going to feel this. We're all going to see the workings of Neptune in Aries, by the way. So, when I think about Neptune in Aries, the one thing I think about is sacrifice, especially with all the layoffs that's going on and stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot of people offing themselves, guys. And I know I can't say the real word on here, but you're gonna start seeing that at a rapid pace because, as you guys know, a lot of people's job it's their identity. Their career is their identity, and if you take that away, they have nothing. And what they're gonna tend to do, they're gonna tend to erase themselves from the world. And Neptune does rule erasing, eliminating, erasing oneself because of that Aries, right? Sacrificing oneself for the greater good. So you're going to see a lot of that. So when you start seeing that, you know what it is. And you can just say, you just take a deep breath. And if that happens to you, you know not to do that. Okay. If you lose your job, you know not to do that. You know that energy is there for you to do it, but you don't want to take that route. You want to take another route. What's the other route? Being more creative. Use the planets before the planet uses you. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't let the planet use you. You use the planet. So instead of offing yourself, Neptune and Aries, you're going to use that creative faculty to create something for yourself because Neptune rules creativity. So just keep that in mind, guys. I don't want you guys to think that what's going on is the end. Because again, this eclipse, it has to get fulfilled. And again, it's going to be the end of work and service. So that's going to be the end of a lot of people's identity. So just keep that in mind. You have to get a grips of your mental faculty as well. Next, Saturn. Saturn, guys. It goes into Aries as well. What does that mean? Well, as you guys know, Saturn rules what? Control, restriction, dominance. It also rules discipline, the discipline of yourself. Remember that Aries, that rules the self, guys. So instead of being controlled, you can do what? You can discipline yourself to be more creative with that Neptune right there. Okay, because they're going to be conjunct. They're going to be making a conjunction. So use the energy of the planets to advance yourself. Don't let the planets use you. Don't let the planets hold you back, restrict you. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of control, guys. It's going to be a lot of control, especially when we go into universal basic income and universal basic services. Yes, it's going to be a lot of control that comes with that. But with control comes survival, and a lot of people will be able to sustain themselves and survive by giving up their freedom to be controlled. And what I mean by control, guys, I mean when someone gives you services like this or as governmental services, there are going to be boundaries, certain restrictions. Remember Saturn rules restrictions. So you will be restricted. You oneself, Aries, you will be restricted from doing certain things, from eating certain foods, from going certain places. Yes, under the guise of control. Yes, because that's all Saturn ruled. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's another thing. Neptune again, just going back to Neptune again. Neptune, of course, rules viruses. You're gonna see a lot more viruses, a lot more drug use. Yes. A lot more drug use. So a lot of people get depressed. They will be turning to drugs. That's another thing. Saturn rules depression. So when it's in Aries like this, of course, you're going to have a lot of individuals because Aries is what? Individual. So you're going to see a lot of individuals being depressed, turn into what? Drugs and alcohol, ruled by Neptune. You see how this goes, guys? You guys see the picture now? So I'm trying to paint a picture that you can see with this, with predictability. And this all begins February 14th. And it just keeps going. Now, of course, it's a Saturn cycle, so it's going to move, go back and forth. Same thing with Neptune. It's going to move, go back and forth. But it has to get through this first phase. And this is just the beginning, guys. So just keep that in mind. And it all supersedes what? This eclipse, right? That just passed. Because when you got this eclipse, all this energy of this eclipse is superseding all this. It's catapulting all this. It's ushering all this in. It's ushering in the post-labor economics. It's ushering in the digital ID. You're gonna have to have a digital ID, guys. Why? Because you're looking at it right here. Look at Neptune. You're not gonna be able to tell the real from the fake. You're not going to be able to tell what an individual is anymore, whether this person is a human or an AI. You're not going to be able to tell. Speaking of that, speaking of AI, let's move on right now. This is when AI goes into full effect, guys. May 1st. And a lot of people, they don't want to predict this. I'm telling you right now, this is when it begins. And you see how quickly it's moving? Now, you guys like, well, it's not doing anything right now. No, it's not. It's not. No, because we got planets retrograding right now. So you're not going to see anything right now. You're right. But it's happening. When those planets start going direct, and here we are. Why would it go in full effect on May 1st? I'll tell you why. Because of Uranus. It's fully direct in what? Gemini, guys. This is AGI right here. Agentic AI. This is it right here, guys. No doubt. So Uranus rules technology, artificial intelligence. It rules the internet. This is all technology when you talk about Uranus. And when you talk about it in Gemini like this, that's the mind. That's thinking. That's AI thinking now, okay, for itself. So it's going into full effect on May 1st and after that. So we got what, 5 months? We 5 months out, guys, from AGI. And I'm saying it right now. Shout out to Dave Shapiro. I mean, that's the guy you want to listen to when it comes to AI and all that. I'm telling you guys right now, and I predict a lot of stuff, and this is true right here. I got a date on it. A lot of people don't want to put a date on AGI because they think it's years away. They do think it's a ways off, but it's unfortunately is not. Unfortunately, it's not, guys. It's right here. because of the planetary alignments, it's not way off. We talking about robotics going into full effect, guys. That's what you're gonna see after May 1st. You're gonna see a lot of AI just moving fast and quickly. It's gonna be in such a pace. That's why I'm saying this is gonna be a paradigm shift. Things are gonna be happening so fast. Yes, this is the reason people are gonna start offing themselves, because it's gonna be such a shift. They're not going to be able to. A lot of people are not going to be able to catch up. They're not going to be able to catch on as quickly as they can, and it's going to be a shock to the system. And that's the reason a lot of people are going to get depressed, and it just turn inward instead of outward. And when I saw this all this year, because I sometimes leapfrog through time, guys. I do, just for fun, and I don't live my life like that, because I'm telling you, you start living your life just looking at stuff in the future, stuff like that, you start getting worse, start getting depressed. It will get to you. And a lot of and let me just say this, guys, a lot of astrologers, they have off themselves, they went crazy, and the reason is because like I say, once you see something, you can't unsee it. Information changes everything. Of course, that's my slogan anyway, but it does. Information changes everything. Once you have information that you see, you can't go back to not knowing it. So knowing what's ahead, sometimes it can be frightening if you have a fragile mind. So, and I'll tell any of you, if you want to, get into astrology or anything like that, or embrace astrology, study it. You have to have a strong stomach. You have to have mental toughness, emotional toughness, and physical toughness. Because especially when you start predicting things and you get in predictability, and you start doing predictive analytics and predictive analysts of your own life and other people's lives around you, it can get to you. Okay, so you have to have a strong mind for this. And again, if you listen to this, just keep in mind that we are going to get through this. It's not all doom and gloom. We got a lot of good stuff going on. For example, it's going to be it's going to be lots of opportunities to make money. And that's why I'm asking you guys to use your creative faculty to make money in this new paradigm shift. So, but when you got Uranus like this, guys, that's all artificial intelligence. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this is it right here. It's not anything that detrimental, guys, but yeah, it's gonna be some things that we're not gonna like. For example, I don't like the fact that it's gonna be a lot of control. I don't like that fact, not at all. So I don't like. I mean, a lot of people like the government controlling them. They're okay with having the government dish out them, money every month. And that's going to look really good to a lot of people, guys. So just to let you know, because so many people are going to be out of work, it's going to look really good. And a lot of people are going to embrace that. So you're going to see that. A lot of people are going to embrace universal basic income and universal basic services. And universal basic services is going to be a stipend of service that you get every month, just like universal basic income. You're going to get a stipend every month with that. So yeah, guys, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But the digital world is going to begin after May 1st. So you have to be ready for the digital world. So AI robotics is going to skyrocket. You're going to see a lot of scaling, a lot of companies scaling upward. So, with this information, you can do a lot of stuff with this information, guys. So just keep this in mind. But everything's gonna be just fine. It really is. It's gonna be just fine. But we're gonna throughout the year we're gonna touch on those things, and we're gonna talk about a lot of other stuff as well. But most of all, we're gonna get back to the relationships because that's what this channel is about. But sometimes I gotta break it off and tell you guys what's going on in the astrological world and the events from an astrological perspective, guys. But um again, if this is your first time being here, I love you guys, and I'm gonna see you in the new year. Like and subscribe. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you know how to get at me, guys. Um, the website is up, astrologicalreviews.com. If you guys need any type of consultation, and what I mean by consultations, I only do couples, guys. So, but we also do one-on-one, but it's all relationship based, guys. All right. So I will see you guys next year on the live stream. And like I said, if you guys got any questions or concerns, put it in the comment section. I got you. All right. And I will see you guys next year, guys. All right. Peace out.